Okay, onward. So at this point, we're going to do area. So let's calculate the area of the different classes that we have in that raster, and we're going to use an operation called zonal geometry as table to do that. And so if we go back into Arc, and we're going to go under our search, so if you don't have that, do you remember how to get to it? And then under this thing, we can type in zonal geometry as table, and there's our tool. And if we click on that, it's going to again take the opportunity to disappoint you. It says it's unable to execute the selected tool because we don't have the license. In fact, we do have the license, we just need to tell Arc that we have it. So if we go under Customize and Extensions, we can then enable the Spatial Analyst license extension that we would like to use. And now, if we click on this, it should open up the tool, no problem. And so what this is going to do is it's going to take the raster and it's going to calculate the area of each zone. And maybe that didn't make sense, but this will make much more sense on Thursday because I'll draw this out on the board. But for now, let's just take my first raster. The zone field is, we're going to do this, there doesn't seem to be any other option besides a value. The output table is we're going to stick it in here, and it's going to be the kind of the area of my first raster. And the processing cell size is, it's already figured out that the resolution of our raster is 30, so it should have figured this out for you. And we're going to say OK, and did it pretty quickly. It likes to tell you how long it took. And now at the somewhere in here, so under our W now, there is the area of my first raster, which if we right click on and say open, it should give us, and I'd like to make this smaller, and this is going to be me fighting with Arc here, excuse me. So let's not worry about the object ID. The value is the same as these values. So the value basically is our class. And so 0 is our background value, or this is just representing all of the land that was not part of the campus. And then 1, 2, 3 are my three classes. You probably have a fourth class here, I would imagine. And then the area is the, so 148,500, what are the units? And remember, the units are going to come from the unit of our coordinate system. So our coordinate system is Vermont State Plane in this case, which we'll talk about later. The linear unit for this coordinate system is meter. So when we're talking about area here in meters, we're talking about square meters. Okay, so now let's just clean this up a little bit. It has a bunch of information that we're not particularly interested in. We're just interested in the area, and we're actually interested in the area as a percentage of the total area. So let's go up to in the table still. We'll go into this table options guy, down click it, and then at the bottom here it's going to say export. And let's click on that. We want to export all the records, and we want to stick it not in the geodatabase this time, but let's stick it just in our home directory. And I'm going to call it the area table output. And then I want to save it not as a file or personal geodatabase table, but just as a text file. And say save. And OK. And no, actually I don't, because I already have this table there. I didn't do it because I want to look at this in Arc. I did this because I want to actually work with this in Excel. And so, do you know how to import a text file into Excel? If you don't, I would like to show you. You go under File, Open, and then let's navigate to where we stuck our data. So I'm going to navigate to Lab 1, and it's going to take its own opportunity to frustrate me, and I need to say show me all the files, and then I want this area table output text document, and say open. And then it's going to take me through this wizard, and it looks like these are delimited, and and it looks like it's based on a comma. And so by doing that, I have now been able to break that text file into columns, and I'm just going to say, is that what I want? Can it say, I was looking to see if it has something that tells it that the first row is actually the important one, but it doesn't, but that's fine. Okay, and so now I can just take all of these guys I don't really care about, highlight them, and delete them. I can take this that I don't really care about and delete it. I can have here at the bottom the total, and this can be equal to the sum of all of these guys, right? And now I can say that this is going to be equal to this divided by, and I think what I want to do here is say, you guys have used this, right? This might be not the most efficient, but I think if I say $B 6 and $, like that, it's going to define there, and then all I believe I have to do is drag it down. And so, right, by putting the $, it's going to fix this, whereas by not having the $, it's going to kind of automatically jump. Did that make sense, or was that just totally confusing? Anyway, there it is. These are not going to be the answers that I'm expecting you to give me, but this is, this isn't the fish, this is how to fish, right? So might as well just save this as area table in Excel. Oh, and did I do it as a, I might have mucked up there. I don't want it as tab delimited, I want it as Excel worksheet. Say save. Okay, fair enough.